I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Hugh Hilton Todd, Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Guyana.
Mr. President, as a member state of the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, OIC, Guyana thanks you for facilitating the group's request for convening today's meeting. I also thank Secretary General Antonio Guterres for his remarks and for his consistent and principled advocacy on behalf of the Palestinian people and for peace in the Middle East region. Mr. President, the protracted Israeli aggression against Palestine cannot continue to be a defining feature for the politics in the Middle East. In recent times, the aggression has extended to other countries in the region, heightening instability and insecurity, driving Israeli poles away from its neighbors and undermining good neighborliness. The ongoing war in Gaza has itself become a catalyst of pain and pressure. Pain for hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who are the targets of Israelis' instruments of war, starvation, bombs, bullets, displacements, dispossession, and other cruelties solely intended to subjugate the Palestinian nation. We have seen, for example, how famine unfolded in Gaza in full view of the international community, and 192 countries could not stop it. The war in Gaza has also become a catalyst for pressure, political pressure, which seems to be the only way the occupying power might respond to the international outcry against the genocidal acts being perpetuated against Palestinians. Guyana calls on the member states of the United Nations to ensure that their engagements with the State of Israel do not in any way contribute to prolonging the war in Gaza and the Israeli oppression of the Palestinian people. It took a collective effort to dismantle the system of apartheid in South Africa, and Guyana firmly believes that an equally strong and organized international response is needed to ensure the end of the occupation of the Palestinian territory. I must underscore the importance of recognition of the State of Palestine by all UN member states as a pivotal part of forcing an end to the Israeli occupation. Recognition lends greater strength to international efforts to end the occupation and to achieve an independent Palestine. On the question of the occupation, Mr. President, allow me to recall that more than 1 year ago, the International Court of Justice issued its advisory opinion confirming that Israel's prolonged occupation of the Palestinian territory is illegal under international law and must be brought to an end. The General Assembly later demanded that Israel end its occupation within a year. That is by the 18th of September 2025. That date has now passed without compliance on Israel's part. On the contrary, we have instead witnessed a series of developments that only entrench the occupation further and destroy the two-state solution. Guyana calls on Israel to respect the Charter of the United Nations, to abide by the relevant resolutions of the General Assembly, the Security Council, and other organs of the United Nations, to cease its contempt of international law, and to commit to true peace in the Middle East. Mr. President, the occupation of the Palestinian territory and the attendant ills is a historic tragedy of proportions that should shock the human conscience across the globe. Sadly, however, what we are witnessing is an othering of the Palestinian people that makes it difficult for some to see Palestinian people as they see their own people. We must all reject the othering and fight for the rights of the Palestinian people, as we would fight for the rights of our own people. The right-minded, the peace-loving, and the promoters of justice must continue to defend the Palestinian people and oppose all attempts to erase them from their homeland. I conclude, Mr. President, by reaffirming Guyana's continued commitment to the two-state solution and by underscoring our conviction that the rule of law will ultimately prevail in the decades-long question as long as all member states choose to be guided by the principles of the Charter. I also reiterate the calls we have consistently made over the last 2 years for a ceasefire in Gaza. For the release of all hostages held in Gaza and Palestinian detainees held in Israeli prisons, for the unimpeded humanitarian access in Gaza. I also call on Israel to cease all its actions that are dismantling the two-state solution and the possibility of peace in the Middle East region. I thank you.